You can't fail at art. But Blue, my art teacher says that who cares what your art teacher says? Art being turned into an academia with grades that you can fail or pass, that's just a scheme. Okay, you can't fail at art. Sure, there's what you think is good and bad art, but you can't be wrong. It's not like maths where there's an answer. Hello, I'm Blue, and I've been kind of feeling down about myself and my art lately, so I just wanted to make a video to lift my spirits and hopefully lift yours too if you're feeling the same way. Because artists are feelers, you know, we feel a lot of emotions, including a lot of the negative ones. And if you're anything like me, you spend most of the time thinking bad about my art rather than actually doing the art. So this next point is kind of a double-edged blade of advice, which is you're allowed to only do art when you feel like it. But on the flip side, I'm gonna say try and make it so that you feel like doing art more. We have a lot of distractions nowadays, you know, mostly social media. We can always think about getting inspired, but that leads to just scrolling just more on social media. So I want you to think about your childhood, think back to when you were a kid and you thought, I have to draw. What inspired you back then? Maybe it was nature, or your toys, or just some flowers you found in the garden, or a story you came up with inside your head. I just want you to go back and think about what made you all excited and happy to put pencil on paper. Because I don't want you to draw when you don't feel like it. I don't want you to draw when you just don't want to. But on the flip side, it's easier to keep drawing when you're already drawing. So starting that process is the hardest part about it, I feel. So I think just create more opportunities for yourself to be inspired, and then the drawing will follow naturally. At least I hope so. And let's say, okay, you've drawn, you've completed something, and you're super happy with it. Now start another drawing, so that the next time you draw, you have something to come back to. It's just like when I'm on the roll, when I'm happy with my drawings, I don't stop where I think I should stop. I always start a new piece, so that the next time I'm feeling kind of down and unmotivated, I can think, oh, I need to finish that piece that I started the other day. And then I'll go back and draw again. That, or you just leave it alone and then you have like a bunch of sketches pile up. But that's the life of an artist. Alright, it is in my humble opinion, not backed by any science or facts that I know of, that delusional people are significantly more happier than regular people. I don't mean this in a negative context, I mean just like with things that don't harm anyone. Let's say there's a person who you think is pretty unattractive, but they think they're the most good-looking person in the world. That bit of delusion doesn't hurt anyone, but it makes themselves so much happier. And I want you to be the same about your art. I want you to have that much confidence and that amount of delusion. Whenever you create something, just think, wow, I created this, and it's amazing. I produced this, it is my baby, and it's wonderful. And this is a lot easier to do as a child, because children are delusional. But let's say you're an adult, and you're more realistic, and you don't know how to be delusional, because that's easier said than done, right? Just get people who don't do art to look at your drawings. Sometimes if we're in this echo chamber of social media and we just look at how amazing other people's art is, we forget that a lot of people aren't artists. Like this one time I was just roughly sketching in my sketchbook and I left it out on the kitchen table and my roommate came along and saw it and he was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And I said, they're literally just some sketches. And he was like, yeah, but they look amazing and I can't do that. And then I was like, you know what? He's right. I am amazing. So you can get non-artists to look at your work, or you can get other artists who you know won't put you down to review your art. Because to be honest, to stay motivated as an artist, you kind of need some delusion, even if it's not coming from yourself. In my case, even if I know something needs to be worked on, I don't want constructive feedback, to be honest. I just want someone to tell me that I did my best and the work is wonderful, and then it'll just motivate me to do more, and I'll naturally fix my mistakes as I go along. So just surround yourself with the right people, depending on what kind of person you are, and try to be a little bit delusional. You got this. The next thing is, I'm really impatient as an artist, right? I always just want what's in my head to be on the canvas immediately, so I end up rushing a lot of the process. And this isn't really helped by the fact that there's a bunch of speed paint videos on YouTube where it's kind of hard to tell actually how long the piece took. So I want you to go and watch a live stream of someone drawing in real time and just remind yourself of how slow it actually takes to produce a work of art if you have the same impatient problem as I do. It really helps. Just focus on each brushstroke, each change of color, how many times they draw the same line over and over again, and just remind yourself that yes, art is a practice and it takes a long time. And another thing to cut down on impatience is to just think. I have a thinking spot. So in my old house, it was by the radiator. Like when it was cold outside, I would just sit by the radiator and then I'd be all warm and then I would just stare at the ceiling and think. So I think about art a lot. Like, is it important that other people are better than me at art? The conclusion I always come to is no, that's not important. And if you're really demotivated, I'm sure this isn't the first video you've watched about how to get motivated for art. So when you're thinking, staring at the ceiling or the wall or whoever your companion is, I just want you to think about what those videos have said to you as well, what they've taught you, and that you're not alone. Okay, but let's say you have to do art when you don't want to. Like, let's say there's a project you need to do, or it's part of your university course, whatever. I would say do it even if you know it won't be perfect. 80–90% done is better than nothing, right? It's not like rocket science where 1 degree of inaccuracy will just break the entire system, right? It's art. You're allowed to be not perfect with it. In fact, if you're a perfectionist, your road as an artist will be very difficult. Sometimes another thing I do is I just go to the gym and exercise, because once I've done the hardest thing in my life, which is exercise, now I can draw, which is, in comparison, not that difficult. So it just gets me like a little bit more motivated to draw. Anyway, that's enough rambling from me. I hope this helped. Putting this in a video format kind of helped me too. So if you're watching this, thank you. Bye.